Yo, what's up? It's Jack. Today I'm reacting to TikToks all about the simulation theory. Let's go!
The argument. Ready?
Go ahead.
Our computing power is growing rapidly.
Right.
We create simulations of worlds. We have video games with characters that are inside the video game.
Right.
Imagine a day where you can simulate a world so perfectly with life forms, humans, so well that you can recreate every single neurosynaptic thought you could have, but now you're in the simulation on the computer.
So,
including the perception of free will.
well, there you have it. Because then, so now you would have enough computing power to imbue the Sims inside of the program with all of the human traits that we possess now.
Correct. Not only our human traits, but the world.
But the world.
The world itself.
Right.
And you don't have to have all the world existing there at all times.
Right.
I think I've used this bit of video before in some of my previous videos, but it's really good, ain't it? Two people talking about the fact that we could be living in The Sims right now.
That might be an unrealistic amount of computing power.
Right.
You just need
Enough of the world that they see around them.
that they see around them.
Rendered. You only need to render the field of view that you can actually see. There's no point, from my experience, my computer in base reality, rendering the rest of the world. It only needs to render it when I look at it. It's like the double slit experiment. Something only exists when it's observed.
So you want to start digging, and
that's so funny.
And haven't put the earth there. There's a flag that goes up in the programmer, and they say, "Up, need more earth." And so they put earth beneath you while you can keep digging.
It's like the Truman Show.
Yeah, well, for example.
Yes. I'm going to make a video about The Truman Show soon.
Right. Maybe that's why we can't travel faster than the speed of light. Because if we could, we'd be able to get to another galaxy
Before they can program
that galaxy.
I said the same thing in a recent video that the speed of light is the speed of the simulation. And that would explain why you can't travel faster than the speed of light.
So now that world evolves, and they develop computing power.
Right.
And they say, we want to play video games.
So now we're going to make a world.
So then they make a world, and they have sufficient...
Exactly. That's what we're doing now. We are currently inventing the next metaverse, right, with Mark Zuckerberg. He's doing that, and Apple are doing it as well. We're currently seeing the birth of the next simulation, right? So what that means is, if we can invent the next simulation, which we're going to exist inside at some point in the near future, with video games that look exactly like real life, if you can assume that, and we can assume it because we're seeing it being birthed in front of us, like a newborn baby, then who's to say that we're not already in one? And that it's just not a long succession of simulations inside simulations inside simulations.
computing power that they invent to create a whole universe within their computers.
Okay.
And then
They make a world.
And then they make a world all the way on down.
Right.
It could be hundreds, thousands, billions.
Yeah.
Just statistically. Something called Bayes.
There you go. What are the odds that you're actually in base reality? Billions to one.
Statistics where you're allowed to introduce...
The frequency of the sound is making this point trace along the path faster and faster until it gets so fast it just looks like solid lines. It looks static to my eyes, but not through. The world could be a hologram. If it travels at the speed of light, then of course we won't see it moving because our eyes can only see light at a certain refresh rate. Obviously, it's not going to break down. We're not going to be able to see through the hologram.
Einstein once said, "What really interests me is whether God had any choice in the creation of the world. As in, is this the only way you can make a universe? And what is the origin of the structure of reality?" Likewise, Edgar D. Mitchell was one of the 12 astronauts to walk on the moon, and he said the most amazing part of the trip was the return journey, when he was looking out of the window of the capsule and he could see the Earth and the moon and the sun, and he suddenly realized that every molecule in the spacecraft, in his body, in the other astronauts' bodies, had all originated from some ancient star, and he had this overwhelming sense of unity. It was all the same Lego bricks, all part of the same game, the same cosmic terms of service.
I like that, because basically that's Einstein saying that everything's connected, everything is one, you know. I like that. I like this video. I've seen it before, because before this I didn't know I had ADHD. And I've got a theory about in a video that I'm going to be releasing soon, or that's already probably out maybe, it'll be on my channel, check it out, that ADHD is actually, could be, Or it could mean that you're a real player. If you have ADHD, that means you're a real player in this video game that we call life. And if you don't have ADHD, you know, the internal monologue that's on 24/7, then you're probably an NPC. Sorry. I do that all the time. So fudging annoying. Yep. Saying that, I've got a special alarm called Alarmy. This video is not sponsored by them. What it does is, the only way it will get me up, because I used to be so crap at alarms, and I wouldn't ever get up when my alarm went off, what I'd have to do is set this Alarmy, and it makes you get up, because I have to go to the bathroom to take a picture of a barcode that's on the Radox. And until I do that, the alarm doesn't go off. Genius, right? I do that all the time. Honestly, nothing against you. I just need people to speed the fuck up and talk properly, fast. I need to be told information quickly. What I've realised is in this modern day is that people talk a lot, but they don't say very much. And it drives me insane. If you're going to talk to me, I need bullet points and I need it quick. I can't be faffing about. And some of these YouTubers, my God, I'm trying to Google how to do something on YouTube, and I just ask a quick question, and God, hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna be looking at all. Just tell me.
It is more likely than not that you and I are living in a simulated universe, a simulated world, a virtual reality right now. It suggests that we're not even really here. Our bodies are here, and we're experiencing through these bodies. It suggests that we may actually be projecting into these bodies from somewhere else. Some very, very well-known scientists are now agreeing. Physicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, he says, I think the likelihood that we are living in a simulated reality may be very high. He says the odds, from his perspective, are 50-50, that our entire existence is a program on someone else's hard drive.
I don't know about being on someone else's hard drive, but, you know, probably be in the cloud. i.e., I've just thought of something. Why do we always say, where does God exist? In the clouds. Therefore, if we're in the cloud, as in the Apple iCloud, like the simulation, perhaps that's where it comes from. We are in the iCloud of the future. That's why God is in the clouds. The moderators. Oh my God, that's actually genius. God, surprise myself.
Waiting for someone to convince me that we don't live in a simulation. Our computing power
Neil deGrasse Tyson, again.
is growing rapidly. We create simulations of worlds. We have video games with characters that are inside the video game. Imagine a day where you can simulate a world so perfectly with life forms, humans, so well that you can recreate every single neurosynaptic thought you could have, but now you're in the simulation on the computer. So, including the perception of free will.
That's an interesting point. Free will. Do we have it? Tell me in the comments if you think we have free will or not. Or is everything determined? Are the things you say just script, readily prepared inside your head? Or do you choose what to do and say? Or is your life mapped out? Are there certain things you get free will over or not? It even talks in the Bible, you know, about free will, that God gave us free will. But do we or not? They know for a fact that your brain decides what you're going to do seconds before you actually do it. So are we choosing or not?
I wonder how many dead one-planet civilizations there are out there in the cosmos. Yes, it's funny, the universe appears to be 13.8 billion years old. Earth, like 4.5 billion years old. In another 500 million years or so, the sun will expand and probably evaporate the oceans and make life impossible on Earth. Which means that if it had taken consciousness 10% longer to evolve, it would never have evolved at all.
That's not strictly about the simulation theory, but Elon Musk has hit the nail on the head there. One of our great thinkers of our times, kind of revolutionising the way that we think about stuff. And what he's basically saying there is the fact that we have consciousness, the fact we are here and now, it's no accident. It's too convenient. The odds of us being here are astronomical. And the odds of us evolving consciousness are astronomical because of the reasons that he just said there.
Hey Siri, who's the 19th president of the United States? to me,
Here's what I found on the web for who's the 19th
the fact that I know that Rutherford B. Hayes is the 19th president of the United States that quickly makes me laugh at every school in America that's making kids memorize the presidents of the United States. All these parents that aren't letting their kids spend a lot of time on the screen, what world do you think your kid's gonna live in? Your kid's gonna live in a fucking computer. Yeah. It's gonna be like the screen's gonna be in them, and you're worried about their screen time for what? So they can read a book? Like literally the device that's delivering the information is your passion? All those parents that don't let their kids play video games, meanwhile their kids could have become the most successful esports players. Yeah. We fear-monger the future and we over-respect the past.
I think that's a really good point, because what Gary Vee is actually saying there is you can't change the future with wishful thinking, you know. Video games and simulations and the metaverse are here to stay. There ain't no wishful thinking going to change that. And so that if your child, you limit their video game playing time, that's fine. You know, I think it's important to send them out and go and do some physical bloody activity for once. But the future is esports. The future is video games. And it's more than likely that most of our physical activity will be from playing video games. And so if you want your child to have a good crack at the future, let them play video games. What's the point in reading a book when I can go on YouTube and have someone give me a book summary in 5 minutes about the key ideas inside that book? Time is money.
Don't come for me, but I have this theory that anyone who doesn't have a traumatic backstory or childhood is an NPC. Like, they don't contribute anything to the plot line. You just talk to them and they sell you like a loaf of bread and you go on your way.
Maybe, but I've got this theory about NPCs. NPC is a kind of an easy answer to a complex problem. I like to think of NPCs rather than being the non-playable characters. Maybe there are some non-playable characters that serve a specific purpose, but I like to think of us as we're the main player in this MMORPG video game that we call life. And we can each be NPCs in each other's storylines, like actors in each other's plays, that give each other a bit of script, that spur us on to do our main quest or not. And so I think of NPCs rather than being non-playable characters. I think they are playable characters. They're being played by a person or a soul or a spirit, but they're just unplugged. They're still plugged in. No, they're plugged in still to the matrix, right? And so to release them, you can do it, but they just don't want to be unplugged because they know subconsciously that it's going to be painful.
If you assume any rate of improvement at all, then games will be indistinguishable from reality, or civilization will end. One of those two things will occur.
It's possible that a simulation is one day going to be inevitable, that we're going to have something that's indistinguishable from regular reality, but maybe we're not there yet. That's also possible.
Well, when we create a simulation, like a game or a movie, it's a distillation of what's interesting about life. Most likely, if we're a simulation, it's really boring outside the simulation. Because why would you make a simulation that's boring? Because make a simulation way more interesting than base reality.
That is, if this right now is a simulation.
Yes.
And ultimately, inevitably, as long as we don't die or get hit by a meteor, we're going to create some sort of simulation if we continue on the same technological path we're on right now.
Yes.
But we might not be there yet. So it might not be a simulation here. But it most likely is, you feel, other places.
This notion of place or where is
flawed.
Yes. When you're in that virtual reality, which is only going to get better, where are you? Where are you really?
Right.
You aren't anywhere.
Well, where's
you're in the computer?
What defines where you are?
Exactly.
Right.
It's your perception.
Exactly. I really like that because it kind of sums up the whole thing pretty damn nicely. It's your perception. The thing that you're looking through your eyes with now could be a retina quality headset, and the world is being projected in front of your eyes. That's why we've got sort of the peripherals over here. It's being projected in front of your eyes in retina 8K quality, whatever, and in base reality we're wearing a haptic feedback suit all in one and a headset, And maybe when we die, that's the person taking off the headset. Game over. How this great video kind of sums up the whole simulation argument in one go by Elon Musk, because what he's basically saying is we are probably in base reality, above this reality, and we've jacked in to this life to live 75 years as you, because in the place where you actually exist, it's really boring. We probably exist in some kind of utopian, futuristic world where everything's been done and we don't need to do anything. We're fed, clothed, housed, money probably doesn't exist. And so what you'll seek to do is spend your time entering simulation to play through lives that are much more entertaining than your current life. Just imagine in the future you can live 1,000 lifetimes in one lifetime. Of course you're going to do it. It's going to be entertaining, it's going to be thrilling. If you want to find out what you really are, then watch this video next, which is going to tell you exactly who you are.